The league final hung on a single breath. Beneath the roar of 60,000, something cracked high above. Only Ryo flinched from the center circle. He heard the ball scream,
3 goals, Rayo. The roof won't hold without them. Move.
A vision flooded his mind. Steel twisting, bolts shearing, the stands collapsing into a pit of dust and limbs. But Ryo hadn't always walked with disaster in his ears. At 19, he was already a ghost. 3 clubs had cut him. Too slow. No instinct. Just a bench warmer with nothing left. Then, on a dead field at dusk, he touched a worn ball one last time, and it hummed.
I've seen 1,000 broken knees and shattered dreams. You will listen, Rayo.
I am losing my mind, but it's real. It knows.
And the voice promised him a future written in catastrophe, a web of disasters only he could see. A week later, on a tryout field, the ball's hum thrummed in his blood. He could feel fractures before they happened.
That number 7. His ankle won't survive the next sprint. Warn him.
No one will believe a talking ball, but if I stay silent, he snaps. Stop. Your ankle's about to go. Change your stride.
The player laughed. Minutes later, his ankle snapped like dry wood. The coaches blamed bad luck.
You are no prodigy, but 3 of our midfielders are injured. FC Minami will give you a trial. It's your last chance.
I'll take it. And bury the voice so deep no one ever finds it.
In his cramped apartment, the ball hummed, showing the league final. Steel groaning, dust raining on screaming faces.
3 goals, specific patterns, or the stadium becomes a graveyard.
I am the only one who hears it, the only one who can rewrite it. But if I fail, they'll never know what killed them.
At FC Minami's training ground, Ryo stood on the periphery. The ball hummed, a quiet pulse threading through every drill.
That's striker, number 9. He'll lunge in 3 seconds. His knee will shatter. Intercept.
Ryo slid across the turf, hooking the ball away a full second before impact. The collision never happened.
What the hell, new guy? You trying to be a hero? That was my ball.
I saved him, and he hates me for it. The voice is already building walls I can't climb.
Rio, stick to your role. No heroics. I've seen a dozen like you burn out in a week.
But the voice didn't stop. Every pass, every tackle, another whisper of imminent harm.
Left wing. He'll roll his ankle on the next cut. Adjust your run, Rio.
Again, Ryo shifted his path. The player stumbled but stayed upright, saved by an inch he'd never understand.
First, the tackle. Now this. You think you are a fortune teller? Knock it off before you get someone hurt.
That night, the ball's hum became a shriek. It dragged Ryo into a vision that bled through his eyelids.
Look, the roof joint fails at 87 minutes. A chain reaction. Hundreds crushed before the final whistle.
Steel screamed. Dust choked the air. Ryo saw faces twisted in panic. Children clutched, a stadium dying.
This is written. Rio. 10 minutes of innocent touches become a massacre. Only you can weave a different path.
I can't control an entire match. I am not a god. This is madness.
You'll break your body, your leg, your lungs, your heart. But if you do nothing, they all die. Choose.
A snapshot of his own leg snapping pierced his mind, then vanished, leaving only the roar of the future dead.
I've been nothing my whole life. If I am going to shatter, let it be for this.
No team, no coach, no ally. Just a voice and an impossible script carved into fate. Rio closed his eyes and memorized the patterns. He would walk onto that pitch as a prophet of ruin. The next morning, Rio cornered Coach Takeda near the benches. Sweat already soaked his collar.
Coach, the stadium roof isn't safe. In the final, it'll collapse. I've seen it.
Seen it? You've been here a week and you are predicting disasters. Focus on your passing. Ryo, leave the engineering to the engineers.
Heavy rain fell that evening. Alone on the training pitch, Rio drilled the voice's patterns until his legs buckled.
Again, the first goal needs a curling shot from the right. Your plant foot must land here, or the deflection kills a child.
Every step is a landmine. My body won't survive this. But they don't get to die because I am afraid.
From the covered walkway, Jin watched. His laughter cut through the rain.
Hey, Psychic, you practicing for the fortune cookie finals? Keep at it, loser.
Rio didn't look up. The voice was his only coach now, and its demands were merciless. Day after day, he carved the patterns into muscle memory. Alone in a stadium of future ghosts, the first match where Rio started was a blur of hums and warnings. By halftime, he'd prevented 2 near disasters no one else saw coming.
A shot from outside the box. The keeper will dive too late. Slide and block the angle now, Rio.
He flung himself across the turf, connecting with the ball a heartbeat before the striker's boot. The goal was denied. The bench erupted in relief, calling it fortune. Jin shook his head, muttering about a rat's blind luck.
Ignore them. Your body is a currency you will spend. By the final, your leg will be the debt you cannot outrun.
A flash of the future impaled his mind, his plant leg buckling mid-shot, bone tearing through skin, the stadium roar turning to static.
I am not a hero. I am a fuse. But if burning out saves them, I'll burn bright enough to blind the Reaper.
Match after match, his uncanny anticipation earned him the starting 11. The coach grumbled. The fans cheered. Rio grew quieter. Each night, the voice dissected his body's breaking point. Each morning, he accepted the fracture.
Break me. Just let them walk out alive.
Jin cornered Rio after training, blocking the locker room door. His eyes were sharp, not mocking.
Every game, you move before anyone else, like you know the future. Tell me how.
If I tell him, he'll call me insane and never look back. Just like the coach. Just like everyone. You'd think I am crazy. And I don't have time to convince you.
Rio tried to shoulder past. Jin's hand caught his arm, grip firm but not hostile.
You are hurting. I am not blind. You don't have to do this alone.
Rio's mask cracked for an instant. Pain flashed across his features before he pulled free and walked away. Later, Jin found him alone in the equipment room. Rio was clutching his head, whispering to a silent ball.
He's not crazy. He's drowning. And he's doing it alone. Whatever it is, I'll watch his back.
The next training, Jin met Rio's eyes with a nod. No words, just a promise. Rio felt something shift. 2 days before the final, the voice became a drill sergeant. Every pass, every stride had a fatal error Rio had to correct.
Left, right, curl. Now, you miss that angle. The roof fails. Again.
Rio ran the sequence again and again, muscles screaming. In his mind, the stadium's shriek was louder than the rain.
The second goal will be a scramble. Chaos in the box. You must be the chaos, Rio.
He collapsed to his knees, gasping. In the distance, Jin watched from the fence, not laughing, not moving.
He's killing himself, and I don't know why.
3 goals. 3 impossibilities. If I miss one, it's over.
He dragged himself up. The voice whispered the last pattern, a curling shot that would shred every ligament in his leg.
The roof stabilizes only if you break yourself on that final kick. Are you ready?
Rio stared at the goal, seeing not the net, but the future he would buy with his own bone. The patterns were etched into his soul. The stadium roared with 60,000 voices, but Ryo heard only the ball's hum sharpening into a blade.
The first pass to their winger will start a chain. Intercept, or the roof stress doubles.
Rio lunged before the pass, flicking the ball away. The crowd saw a reckless tackle. He heard a bullet dodged.
Now their striker will feint. Slide to the left, or he'll break his ankle on your planted foot.
Again he adjusted, a ghost in the machine. The half dragged on, scoreless, as Rio wove a web of prevention.
Rio, we're not scoring. You are playing like a defender, not a forward. What are you doing?
Buying time. Every second I stall, the roof holds. But I can't say that.
Above the shouting, a low groan shivered through the steel. Only Ryo's eyes flicked up, half-time whistle. The crowd cheered the break, unaware. Ryo sat on the bench, counting the seconds.
Parking the bus bought us 45 minutes. The next half, I become the attack. And the sacrifice.
The second half whistle screamed. Ryo exploded forward, the ball glued to his foot, the voice a drill in his skull.
First goal. Right edge. Cut inside at the penalty arc. Curl it into the far corner. Now.
He cut inside, the defender a half step behind. The net opened like a wound. His leg drew back. Ren barreled in, eyes locked on the ball. His studs raked across Ryo's ankle, a crash of limbs and turf.
The foul was part of the path. Accept it. The free kick is where the first goal lives.
Rio pushed himself up, dust caking the blood on his shin. The referee awarded the kick on the edge of the box.
Strike here, fate rewrites. Miss, and the roof begins its death. No pressure, prophet.
A vision sliced through him. The perfect arc, the net bulging, the crowd erupting. Then his own leg snapping in the follow-through. He blinked it away. The ball hummed, alive. Ryo placed it on the spot, the stadium holding its breath.
One kick. Hundreds of lives. Let the ball remember this.
Rio struck the ball with everything he had. It bent beyond physics, curling into the top corner like a guided missile.
Yes, that's one. But the next pattern is a minefield. Your leg knows it.
The stadium exploded. Teammates mobbed him. But Rio was already somewhere else, a future where his femur split lengthwise. A grotesque vision, his leg snapping on the next shot, bone tearing through skin, the stadium's roar turning to screams.
I don't care. Break me. There's still two more.
He pushed through the embraces, eyes already scanning the pitch. The roof gave a metallic sigh, a reminder of the clock ticking.
The roof stress dropped 15%, but it's still a bomb. The second goal is a scramble in the box. Be chaos, Ryo.
Play resumed. The scoreboard glowed 1-0. Around him, 60,000 hearts beat. His own was a war drum.
Two more impossible patterns. And I am already falling apart. Perfect.
He glanced at Jin, who gave a tight nod. For the first time, Rio didn't feel completely alone. But the voice reminded him it wouldn't be enough. Rio plunged into the penalty area, a thicket of boots and elbows. The voice laid out the criminal path.
Bounce it off Jin's shin. He won't know, but the deflection angle is the only one that spares a life.
He crashed into Jin, using his teammate as an accidental shield. The ball caromed off a defender, then a knee. In the chaos, Ryo's toe stabbed out. The ball squirted through the mess, past the frozen keeper, and kissed the net. The stadium erupted. And then a rolling crack, like a mountain splitting. 60,000 throats silenced in terror. A jagged fissure split the roof truss. Everyone heard it. The ground shivered.
That's two. The last one is the breaker. Run, Ryo. Run, or we all die.
His vision doubled. The voice was a shriek that tore at his sanity. Pain behind his eyes like glass shards.
Doesn't matter. Nothing matters. But the next touch.
3 minutes on the clock. 3 minutes to rewrite a massacre. The ball hummed like a bomb in his ears.
The 1-2 with Jin. Give and go. Then the final shot.
Ryo slotted the pass toward Jin, but Ren read it like a hawk, stepping between them with a contemptuous smirk.
I've watched enough tape. Predict this.
Ryo saw the future collapse into a single frame. The roof shearing, the stands crashing down. He lunged without thought. From behind, he scythed through Ren's legs. A brutal, ugly foul that sent the captain flying into the turf. The referee's whistle shrieked. A yellow card flashed in the floodlights. The crowd erupted in a storm of boos. Jin stared, disbelief twisting his features. This wasn't the quiet, prophetic Ryo he'd come to respect.
Ryo, what the hell was that?
I don't have time to explain. I'll hate myself later.
Ryo scooped up the loose ball. The hum was a desperate scream now. 20 seconds remained. Ryo weaved past a lunging defender, the voice mapping every step. The penalty arc yawned open.
Now pass to Jin. He'll one-touch it back to you. It's the only way to split the defense.
He slid the ball to Jin. Without breaking stride, Jin redirected it back to Ryo. A perfect one, too. Ryo received the ball at the edge of the box. The angle was perfect. The goal gaped before him.
Shoot. Everything you are, everything you'll never be, pour it into this kick.
A vision impaled him, his plant leg exploding, the roof peeling back like a tin lid, 100 faces crushed in the rubble.
That's what happens if I miss, or if I don't commit. But I can't. I can't feel my leg.
The stadium fell silent. 60,000 breaths held. A lone heartbeat thundered in his ears. Time stretched into a black wire. He stood at the crossroads of hundreds of lives and one shattered leg.
If I don't, they all die. So why can't I move? Move, you coward. Move.
A raw scream tore from Ryo's throat. Not fear, not courage. Just all the will a broken body could muster. His foot struck like a falling star. The ball compressed, then exploded forward, bending physics into a prayer.
The final path. Fate bends.
The net swallowed the ball. A heartbeat later, the roof gave a monstrous groan and held. The crack in the truss stopped mid-split. Dust showered, but the steel locked. Ryo felt no triumph, only the wet snap of something inside his leg giving way and the ground rushing up.
I can't feel my leg, but I can hear them screaming. They're alive.
You rewrote it. The roof holds, but your body, it's written now.
Medics swarmed. The crowd's roar became a distant wave. Ryo stared at the ball, still humming, still his.
It's not over. The voice is still here. But for now, the world didn't end.
The medics lifted him onto a stretcher, but Ryo's eyes never left the ball. Its hum was softening, bleeding away like a receding tide.
You rewrote it. Goodbye, Ryo.
Ryo reached out, fingers brushing the damp leather. No vibration, no whisper, just cold, dead synthetic.
It's gone. The voice, the warnings, the only thing that ever made me special.
He shook off the medic's hands, pulling himself closer to the ball, his shattered leg dragging uselessly. The stadium roared with victory chants, but to Ryo, it was the deepest silence he'd ever known.
I saved a world and murdered the only part of me that mattered.
He cradled the ball against his chest, a lifeless object now, and felt a void open where the voice had been. Teammates rushed to lift him. but he was already somewhere unreachable, a deaf prophet in a carnival of joy. The voice was gone. Ryo lay on the grass, staring at the sky, emptier than he'd ever been. Jin reached Ryo first, staggering through the swarm of medics, his victory grin collapsing as he saw those hollow eyes.
We won because of you, Ryo. You did it. You really. Ryo?
It's gone. The voice. Everything.
What do you mean gone? Ryo, look at me. What's gone?
Coach Takeda's hand fell on Ryo's shoulder, heavy with unspoken understanding. No questions, just pressure.
You carried something alone out there. Don't carry it back to the bench. Let them take you.
He doesn't know the half of it. No one does. No one will.
They lifted the stretcher, a hero's parade for a hollow man. The cheers washed over him, meaningless as static. Jin jogged beside the stretcher, his earlier confusion hardening into something desperate. He grabbed Ryo's hand.
Ryo, whatever you lost, you saved 60,000 people. That has to mean something.
The locker room had emptied, celebrations spilling into the corridors. Ryo remained, the match ball heavy in his lap.
You were everything. Every whisper, every warning, every impossible task. Now you are just leather. 60,000 people breathe because of me. And I feel nothing but this silence. I saved a world and murdered the only thing that made me special. Was I even the one playing, or just the voice's puppet?
He forced himself to stand on a leg that felt dead and limped to the mirror. The reflection was a stranger.
Who is that? Not a prophet, not a hero. Just a broken boy who outlived his miracle.
He pulled on a hoodie, hiding the jersey that would never feel like his own, and took one last look at the ball. He walked out, leaving the match ball where it fell. Behind him, Jin's voice echoed through the tunnel.
Ryo, where are you going? The ceremony's about to start.
Ryo didn't turn. The voice was gone, and with it, any reason to stay. He limped into the silence beyond the lights. He couldn't leave without seeing it one last time. The match ball, silent now, waited where he'd left it. Ryo tucked it under his arm and limped back through the tunnel. The pitch rose before him, a vast green void under the empty stands. The scars of the match, divots, torn turf, were the only evidence of what had happened. He limped to the center circle, each step a negotiation with his shattered leg. There he knelt and placed the ball on the penalty spot. Cross-legged, like a schoolboy at a shrine, he sat before the ball. The leather was scuffed, dirty, mute.
I saved them, but I killed you.
The silence answered. Not a hum, not a whisper, just the distant hum of floodlights powering down.
Was it ever really me out there? Or was I just a vessel for 1,000 broken dreams?
He pressed his palm to the ball, feeling nothing but the grain of leather. A goodbye without reply.
This is what ordinary feels like. Silence. I hate it.
Ryo sat there as the stadium plunged into dusk, the ball an unmarked grave at his feet. Ryo stood before the ball, then turned his back. He left it exactly where it lay, on the center spot, a monument to the miracle he'd murdered.
I won't look back. If I do, I'll stay here forever, waiting for a voice that won't return.
A flash of memory, the final whisper, goodbye. It echoed in his chest as he limped toward the exit. His limp was a broken metronome. Each step marked the end of something he'd never be able to explain.
I was special because of you. Now, without the voice, I am just ordinary, and ordinary terrifies me.
The player's tunnel swallowed him. Outside, the world hadn't changed. Traffic, lights, ordinary life, but he had, irreversibly. He passed through the archway. The vast silence of the pitch at his back was the loudest thing he'd ever heard.
If anyone asks, I'll say it was luck. No one would believe a ball could speak. They'll never know I saved them.
He limped into the city, a ghost leaving its haunt. Somewhere behind him, on the empty pitch, the ball waited for no one. It held the memory of every disaster, every whisper, every sacrifice. Silent now, but never empty. A giant screen on a building flickered. Miracle save. 60,000 lives spared. Ryo stood in its shadow, watching the crowd he'd saved.
They're celebrating, laughing, hugging, and I just feel nothing.
His phone buzzed relentlessly. Congratulations, interview requests, Jin's name flashing. He silenced it without a glance.
Jin, Coach Takeda, the club. I can't. Not when the only thing that made me theirs is dead.
He opened his contacts, scrolled to the football names, and deleted them one by one. Then, the contacts list was empty.
There. Now, I am just a boy with a broken leg and no one to call. Ordinary.
The city moved around him, indifferent. He was the prophet who had silenced his own miracle, and no one would ever know. The pavement stretched ahead, bathed in sunset gold. He walked without direction, leaving his entire past on a silent pitch.
Maybe I walk until the pain fades, or until I become someone new. Someone who doesn't need miracles.
He erased the numbers, but not the memory. Somewhere, a football rested on a pitch, holding every disaster he'd rewritten. Rio shrank to a speck on the golden road, swallowed by the sunset that had witnessed everything. On the empty pitch, the ball lay utterly still. No hum, no whisper. Just leather and the memory of a voice. A single white feather detached from somewhere high and began its descent, slow and weightless. It drifted past the silent stands, past the repaired truss, down to the center of the scarred battleground. It landed beside the ball, a tiny punctuation mark on the green. The last thing he'd ever hear was nothing. The road ahead was endless, and behind him, a miracle he could never share. He walked until he was a faint line against the horizon, and then he was gone. The ball remained, a silent sentinel. No voice would ever hum through its leather again. The feather stirred in a breeze that carried no whisper, no prophecy, no burden, and the beautiful game, once haunted, fell silent.